What if the greatest threat to a perfect society isn't an external enemy, but the very people who promise to save you? Welcome to Winds of Thought. The most dangerous revolutions aren't the ones that fail, but the ones that succeed only to become the very thing they destroyed. Today, we're diving into one of history's most powerful political warnings, not as a history lesson, but as a living mirror held up to power itself. We're exploring George Orwell's Animal Farm. This isn't a book report. It's a blueprint. A blueprint for how every noble ideal gets twisted, how every promise of equality can curdle into a new hierarchy, and how language itself becomes the tyrant's sharpest tool. By the end, you'll see this pattern not just in old books, but in the very structure of modern power, and you'll understand the quiet question Orwell leaves us with: are we the liberators, or are we already the pigs? The story begins on Manor Farm, a place of simple misery. The animals are overworked and underfed by the drunken, negligent Mr. Jones. Their breaking point arrives with old Major, an elder boar, who shares a vision of rebellion. He dreams of a world where animals reap what they sow, free from human masters. His message is pure, a gospel of solidarity: all animals are comrades. With his death, the torch passes to two pigs, Snowball, the passionate idealist, and Napoleon, the shrewd strategist. They lead a successful uprising. Jones is expelled. The farm is renamed, and the principles of this new world are painted on the barn wall, the 7 Commandments. Rules like, whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy, and, most importantly, all animals are equal. For a moment, it works. The first harvest is theirs, and the dream feels tangible. But the first corruption is never a loud explosion, it's a silent, selfish sip. The pigs, declaring themselves the necessary brainworkers, quietly claim the farm's milk and apples. The principle of equal share is subtly broken for the good of all. Soon, a rift grows between Snowball, who plans a windmill for progress, and Napoleon, who secretly trains a pack of fierce puppies. During a critical vote, Napoleon unleashes his dogs. Snowball is violently chased away. Democracy ends with a snarl. From here, the revolution consumes itself. Napoleon rules by decree. Work becomes compulsory, rations shrink, and fear takes root. When the windmill is destroyed, Napoleon names Snowball a secret saboteur, rewriting history on the spot. The loyal cart horse, Boxer, embodies the exploited believer, his motto, "I will work harder," becoming the engine of his own oppression. And Squealer, the smooth-talking propagandist, works daily to warp reality. He approaches the barn where the commandments are written. The animals know a rule was against sleeping in human beds. But Squealer, with calm assurance, clarifies, the rule forbade sheets, comrades. A bed is just a place to rest. The words on the wall haven't changed, yet their meaning is inverted before their eyes. This is the core of the tyranny, not just changing the rules, but gaslighting the memory of the rules. One by one, every commandment is altered to serve the pig's new comforts. Trading with humans? Now necessary. Drinking alcohol? Justified. The most potent weapon of oppression is not a weapon at all, but a dictionary in the hands of a liar. The final, haunting distortion awaits. The original, sacred vow of "all animals are equal" now carries a sinister postscript. But some animals are more equal than others. The linguistic contortion is complete. Equality now legally enforces inequality. With this, the pigs walk upright, wear clothes, and whip the other animals. In the chilling finale, the common creatures peer through a farmhouse window. Inside, the pigs and the human farmers are playing cards, laughing, their faces indistinguishable. The revolution has achieved its ultimate betrayal. It has restored the old world, merely with new masters wearing the masks of liberators. So how does this happen? How does the vision of old Major become the tyranny of Napoleon? The first mechanism is the centralization of force. Napoleon doesn't win arguments, he eliminates debaters. The pack of dogs, raised in secret, is his private army. Their first public act exiles Snowball, instantly crushing any organized opposition. This creates a landscape of fear, where disagreement isn't countered with ideas, but with violence or its threat. The message is clear: power flows from the barrel of a gun, or the sharpness of a tooth. The second, more insidious mechanism is the control of narrative. This is Squealer's domain. His genius is in making the unbelievable seem logical, and the unjust seem essential. When resources are scarce, he uses statistics to prove rations have increased. When the pigs move into the farmhouse, he frames it as a burdensome duty. He constantly invokes the phantom of Mr. Jones, arguing that any complaint, any desire for the old rules, is a step back toward human slavery. He doesn't just manage the truth, he manufactures a new one, where every act of selfish accumulation is repackaged as a sacrifice for the collective good. And what of the public? They are managed through the cult of the leader. Napoleon transitions from comrade to leader with a capital L. He awards himself medals like Animal Hero, First Class. His portrait is everywhere. The sheep are trained to bleat, 4 legs good, 2 legs better. At key moments, drowning out doubt with mindless noise. This creates a society where loyalty is performance, and thought is unnecessary. The brilliant, beleaguered boxer is the tragic heart of this. His unwavering faith, Napoleon is always right, provides moral cover for the regime. His relentless labor builds the very structures that entrap him. In a system built on lies, the greatest asset is not a liar, but a true believer. This brings us to the story's most philosophical observer, Benjamin, the old donkey. He is the cynic, the one who sees the cycle for what it is. While others hope, Benjamin knows. Donkeys live a long time, he says. None of you has ever seen a dead donkey. His point is profound: regimes rise and fall, slogans change, but the fundamental suffering of the powerless remains a constant. He watches the commandments change and says nothing. He believes life would go on as it had always gone on, that is, badly. But Orwell implicates Benjamin too. His clear-sighted cynicism becomes a form of complicity. He sees Boxer being taken to the slaughterhouse and finally screams in protest, but it is too late. His inaction, born of a belief that nothing ever truly changes, allows the evil to proceed unchecked. This is perhaps Orwell's darkest warning, that the seeing eye without the helping hand is part of the machine of tyranny. Animal Farm was banned by both the Soviet Union and by some groups in the United States. That's your first clue that this isn't about left or right. It's about up and down. It's about the inherent corrupting force of unchecked authority, regardless of the banner it flies under. The ism matters less than the hierarchy. Orwell wasn't attacking a single economic theory, he was dissecting the psychological and social architecture of power itself. How it seduces, isolates, and transforms the revolutionary into the ruler. So what do we do with this blueprint? The point isn't to despair, but to recognize the pattern. To inoculate ourselves against it. Look at any modern institution, corporation, or government. Listen for the squealers reframing failures as successes. Watch for the slow, semantic slide where transparency becomes strategic confidentiality, where equity becomes equality of opportunity stripped of its power. See where the founding ideals are kept as hollow mantras while the practice moves utterly against them. The guard against this is eternal vigilance. It is the refusal to outsource your memory, to let a narrative override your own eyes and ears. It is protecting independent thought as the most radical act of all. It is questioning who truly benefits from the new decree, the new slogan, the new necessary compromise. Orwell's tale ends with the animals unable to tell pig from man. Our challenge is to ensure we never reach that point of confused betrayal. The question he leaves us with is urgent: in our own communities, our own nations, which role are we playing? Are we the hopeful boxer, working harder within a broken system? The cynical Benjamin, seeing the truth but standing aside? Or, in some small, subtle way, are we already justifying our own extra share of the milk and apples? If this exploration of power and truth resonates with you, help this channel grow. Give this video a like, and subscribe to Winds of Thought. We untangle the big ideas that shape our world. Your support lets us go deeper. Now, I want to hear from you in the comments. Not about the book, but about the pattern. Where do you see the spirit of Squealer or Napoleon most alive in our world today? What's the modern equivalent of changing the commandments on the barn wall? Thank you for thinking deeply. Remember, the first revolutionary act is to see the farm for what it is, not just for what it promises to be.